Hi, thank you for being here with me. I am about to check out of my hotel, and but the lighting, the way the daylight comes in here, it's pretty good. And also, I really didn't want the day to get away from me before I post. Um, I am processing processing a lot of about the death of my friend and really kind of the bigger picture of what how hard it is to stay here sometimes, how hard it is to not give in to that um, that feeling like you can't go on, like it's just too painful to be here. um, so I was talking about this with a friend of mine last night that, sometimes it really is just hard to be here. It really is. And that is, that's outside of self-worth issues. And I'm talking about the big picture of being in this world that is so screwed up, and um, knowing, you know, knowing and feeling like this could be better. And so many of us devote our lives to trying to make it better for ourselves and for everyone. So I wanted to share this quote, which I didn't read it actually, because there's a weird glare, but I don't know if you can. So the quote is right above my head. It's like, yeah, yeah, it's like in a frame above my head. But the lighting it's hard to actually get a good picture of it, and it's hard to kind of read it because of the lighting. So anyway, but I read it um, this morning. You guys, I can't make this stuff up. I just can't. So I want to read the quote to you. It's by the way, it's an F. Scott Fitzgerald quote. The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposed ideas in mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. One should, for example, be able to see that things are hopeless and yet be determined to make them otherwise. I want to I want to add something to this quote, especially about that first part. Still, the end of that first part, the test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposed ideas in mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. We've all lost the ability to function at certain times. Holding that notion in our minds and in our hearts that, you know, this world is bananas, and yet we keep going. We still keep trying to make it better. But there's something about that, the ability to function. My hope for you, for me, for everyone, is that when we lose that ability to function, because that it's inevitable, I think we go through that. I think we go through it multiple times in our lives where we lose the ability to function. So when we lose the ability to function, my hope is that you are surrounded by people who love you to help you through that so that you can function again. And even more deeply, I hope that you actually allow those people who love you to truly be there for you and to truly carry you. Because I think that's harder. I think that's actually harder than shutting down and not being able to function. That is like that's like a matter of fact. Like, it's going to happen. The key is, will you allow yourself to be helped when you need it? Will you allow yourself to receive the love that's there for you when you need it? And that is the part that ties directly to self-worth. And when you are in a spiral of mental illness, and that's, especially if it's tied to addiction, but really, I mean, it doesn't have to be tied to anything else. Mental illness is its own beast. Your brain can really, really do a number on you. Your brain can really lie to you about what your worth is or is not. And and I speak from firsthand experience. I mean, I have been there. I have been suicidal before, and I've been suicidal twice. So the first time was, I had been out of work for some time. My mom was in the hospital for weeks. She was extremely ill. She almost died. This was in 2006. I was struggling with my marriage. I was just deeply, deeply depressed. And I had a plan. And I will tell you that to this day, I do not know why I could not get up out of the chair that I was sitting in to execute the plan. But I felt physically pinned in the chair. I felt like I had some weight all over me to where I literally could not get up out of the chair. And I sat there like that for hours. It was so bizarre. It was so, I just, like, I don't usually talk about this because it's like I can't, even all these years later, I can't put words to it. I can't put language around it because it was so surreal. And at that point in my life, I did not have the depth of self-worth that I have now. And I would have executed the plan. It's not worth discussing what the plan was, okay? But I had enough of a grain of hope that I knew that was bad, that it was bad to be feeling like that way and to be that determined to execute a plan. I knew that it was very bad, and I knew that if I had any hope of being able to move forward, that I had to get help. So I did. And so that was one time. And the other time was actually more recent, when I was in a very dangerous situation, in a very dangerous marriage. And my every part of me was in danger. And that, I had just a thought of, like, this is the only way out. And then immediately after that, I was like, whoa. That's not good. That is terrifying. That is really where my head is at. So I made a change right then and there. So that was more of a momentary feeling, and whereas the first time around it was something I had been plotting for a while. And of course, I didn't tell anyone, which means that it was serious. Um, so, yeah, it can happen. It can happen. And that the feeling when you're in that spiral is that is literally the only way out. And the only way to end the excruciating pain. So I will say that I can speak from my own experience, and that it's a it's a it's a place, mentally and emotionally. If you're in that place, you literally feel like there's nothing else that will stop the pain. There's nothing else that will, that's literally the only resolution. So I will say that if you've ever been in that place, I'm so sorry. And the way I feel now is that there's not a person on this planet who is not loved by someone. And if you're genuinely feeling that down, my hope, my genuine, deep hope for you is that you will allow those people to be there for you. Even if you can't be there for yourself, that you will allow someone else to be there for you and with you. Because I genuinely feel that you are not alone. You are not alone. And it might sound arrogant for me to say that if you genuinely feel that you are alone. Don't believe the hype. You are not alone. You are loved. You are valued. You are valuable. You are needed. I love you. Keep going. Thank you for being here with me.